This brings me to the last story tonight. As tensions between Israel and Hamas continues to escalate, the fate of remaining hostages has taken the center stage. In a chilling statement, Hamas has warned that any Israeli attempt to retrieve hostages by force will result in return, and I quote, in coffins. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has countered with a severe threat of his own. If Hamas does not release all the hostages, Israel will begin seizing more territory in Gaza. On Wednesday, Hamas released a statement declaring that it is doing everything possible to keep the occupation's captives alive, but blamed Israeli bombardment for putting them at risk. The militant group explicitly warned that any Israeli rescue mission could be met with deadly consequences. Hamas declared every time the occupants attempt to retrieve its captives by force, it ends up bringing back in coffins. The statement follows several failed Israeli rescue attempts that have resulted in hostages being killed, as well as the deaths of Israeli soldiers and Palestinian civilians. The group claims Israel's aggressive military actions are making it impossible to ensure the safety of those still in captivity. What's the response? In response, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had made it very clear that Israel will continue exerting maximum pressure on Hamas. He stated, and I quote, "The more Hamas persists in its refusal to release our hostages, the stronger the pressure we will exert." This includes the seizure of territories along with other measures. I will not elaborate on it. This is what he said. This settlement aligns with the recent warning that Israeli Defense Minister, who openly stated that Israel could begin annexing parts of Gaza if Hamas refuses to negotiate. Since the ceasefire ended last week, Israel has resumed its military operations in Gaza with full force. The Palestinian Health Ministry, now run by Hamas, reports that at least 830 people have been killed since the strikes resumed, including 38 people in last 24 hours alone. In a rare and surprising turn of events, hundreds of Palestinians in northern Gaza took to the streets this week in an anti-Hamas protest. Protesters in Beit Lahiya chanted slogans such as "Hamas out" and "Hamas terrorists," expressing their frustration over the ongoing war and the devastation. One protester talked to AFP and he said, and I quote, "I took part to send a message on behalf of the people. Enough with the war," he claimed. Hamas security forces in civilian clothing attempt to disperse the protests. The hostage crisis remains a critical issue in this conflict. Of the 251 people kidnapped by Hamas during October 7 attack that triggered this whole war, 58 remain in captivity. The Israeli military believes that at least 34 of them have already been dead. During the first phase of ceasefire in January, Hamas released 33 hostages, 8 of whom were already deceased. In exchange, Israel freed approximately 1,800 Palestinian detainers. However, with negotiations breaking down and hostilities escalating, the fate of remaining captives hangs in the balance. The conflict shows no signs of easing. Hamas is holding firm, warning of dire consequences if Israel attempts further rescues. Meanwhile, Netanyahu's government is doubling down on threats of territory expansion. The next move by both sides could determine whether the war continues to intensify or if diplomatic efforts can break the deadlock. One thing is clear: every day that passes, the humanitarian toll grows heavier, and the chances for peace seems even more distant than ever.